Hello, I'm Martin Ferguson. I'm Director of Policy and Research at Socitm, and in this short video I'd like to share with you some of the work I'm currently leading with members, with the local CIO Council and others in our field of interest. First of all, what drives our policy work? We've identified a number of priority policy areas that help to direct our policy work and related areas of activity by the Society. On the matrix you'll see on the slide, across the top you'll see an axis of business outcomes, including things like reducing costs, growing the local economy, and excelling at the customer experience. And on the vertical axis, the kinds of IT and digital solutions that may be appropriate to address each of these outcome areas. And this matrix was developed by the Socitm President's team, the board, the management team. There was input from the Members Advisory Council and the local CIO Council, and is regularly reviewed to keep it up to date. And the green shading shows where these different business outcomes and solutions intercede. And what we do is to use this matrix to inform our research, so insight reports such as living with austerity, flexible and mobile working towards the Digital Council. Our insight briefings, so Labour's Digital Government Review, demand management, key points from our recent Share Digital event. All of these were prioritised using the matrix that's on the screen. The priority areas also inform our commercial services, so services such as the Socitm Assessment Services and Socitm Advisory. And of course it informs our policy work. And what I would like to do now is to highlight 4 areas of policy work. One is digital, secondly health and social care integration, thirdly open systems, and finally women in IT. Digital by design. In 2015 budget, the government set out its intention to extend its digital ambition to local public services. And that's now taking the form of some work that we're doing with DCLG and others to prepare a submission for the Spending Review 2015. Secondly, I'd like to give you a short update on the local CIO Council, and thirdly to mention the Digital Maturity Assessment Service. On the Spending Review, DCLG has set up a local digital alliance involving itself, local government associations, Socitm, Solus, CIPFA and others to prepare the Spending Review submission. And 4 key areas of focus are emerging for the submission. One is around leadership and capability, so digital leadership and skills. What are they, where might they be sourced and how might they be developed? Secondly, on platforms. So what kind of platforms, common platforms, might be appropriate in the local public services setting, and how can we have input to the design, testing and business case for these common platforms for things like identity assurance and payments and so on. And then thirdly, data, and particularly the better use of data, so analytics to identify problems and target services more precisely, open data standards to join up services. And then fourthly, transformation exemplars, especially we think for the more complex outcome areas requiring end-to-end process redesign and digital transformation. So things like managed hospital discharges, back to the home, the family, the community and social care, supporting troubled families, applying to become an adopter, placing children and combating isolation. The local CIO Council is currently exploring the notion of place as a platform with Mark Thompson, who spoke at our spring conference. Mark from Judge Business School, some of you will remember. Secondly, we're looking at the whole topic of cyber security and working with DCLG on plans to engage local government. And thirdly, we've been approached by the Crown Hosting Service to explore options and opportunities with local government. Moving on to Socitm Assessment Services, we've now launched a Digital Maturity Assessment Service, which is based on work we've done previously and digital insights with 15 design principles for digital services, which in turn rested upon the work that had been done by Government Digital Service. The Digital Maturity Assessment Service is a self-assessment online service, and it helps you to understand your current position and the gaps to address. Moving on to health and social care integration, we're now embarking on a range of activities following last year's summits and workshops that were commissioned by the Department of Health. We've recently been asked to produce 10 briefings working jointly with Socitm, the ADAS Informatics Network and the Local Government Association, and these will all be produced and co-authored by Socitm. So planned topics include identity authentication, online citizen accounts, user journeys, online transactional facilities and promotion of online services. The pioneers, while we're working here with the ADAS Informatics Network and Local Government Association to produce further regional events to disseminate emerging practice. The National Information Board's Framework for Personalised Care 2020, and here Socitm Policy is engaged with the Delivering Locally work stream. And that work stream is informing all of the other activities being worked on under the auspices of that framework for personalised care. And then finally, the maturity model that's under development based on the work we've already done on our digital maturity assessment model and working this through with HSCIC for health and social care. Following an informal gathering at the Socitm conference in Manchester, we've published a draft manifesto for an Open Systems Alliance. And the idea of this alliance is to build an alliance of key stakeholders, people, communities and organisations to accelerate public sector innovation and to enable digital delivery of services, to create the conditions in which open standards and open source products and services will be co-created and shared by local government. So what can and what should Socitm do? What can and should suppliers do? Suppliers of proprietary systems, legacy systems, open source systems. And is there scope for an app store for open systems components? All of these things can be discussed in the Knowledge Hub facilitated discussion area in the Socitm Open Group, and I'd encourage you to join that discussion at the address shown on the slide. Moving on to women in IT, some of you will know that this is one of the three priority areas for our President, Nadira Hussain. And on the 23rd of September this year, she'll be launching her initiative at an event in London. And here we'll be addressing where the gaps are for women progressing in IT. What are the results of a survey of Socitm members about the roles and prospects for women in IT in their organisations? We'll be looking at how to work with schools to encourage early interest in IT. And finally, celebrating success by sharing stories from some of our members and others outside of our immediate network. Now, policy briefings encourage debate and advocate policy positions on behalf of our members to external stakeholder audiences. They also equip our members with the latest thinking on key matters of policy. And there are currently two topics that we're addressing. One is on local digital, guest authored by John Jackson, CIO from the London Borough of Camden. And here John sets out the opportunities for a step change in savings in the public sector and the case for a local digital service to help councils realise those opportunities. The second area that we're working on is on place as a platform, and this briefing is currently being drafted and will be placed on Knowledge Hub for discussion towards the end of this month, so as to provide input to a local CIO council workshop in September. The Socitm Annual Conference is taking shape under the strapline of Reform to Revolution. So key issues to be addressed will include citizen-led shaping and design of digital services, how can we make the vision a reality, shared services, building a competitive IT market, openness, smart places, design principles and methodologies for digital services. And we have speakers who include Ruth Buckley on shared services from Cork City and County Councils in ERA, And Dominic Campbell of FutureGov will be talking about alternative delivery models. Looking ahead to future priorities, of course, austerity is going to be with us at least for another 4 years and needs a radical response. So issues like digital maturity, leadership and understanding of the opportunities, building local capability and capacity, the pace at which we can move, addressing diversity and local priorities and differences. All of this revolves around place. Place is where it all comes together. Outcomes, insight, collaboration, multiple sectors and multiple levels of government working together to deliver outcomes for citizens and local businesses. And this is why we believe place as a platform is a key area of interest at the present time, and one that we'll be promoting through our policy briefing to be published in September.